Hola, mi gente. Joe Barreto back with you at the Credit Card Connection. I'm so glad you can join me. Well, mi gente, we are getting into the summer travel season. And with that, we're looking forward to great trips, great times, great memories. But also with that comes sometimes great expense. And one of the most expensive things we do when we're out on a trip is rent a car. And I'm not just talking about the car rental prices themselves. Today, I'm going to talk to you about car rental insurance, which, believe it or not, depending on the type of car you drive and the company you use to rent it from, that insurance might actually cost more than the car rental for that day itself. So, today, I'm going to go over four of the top companies from credit card issuers that are out there, what their coverages offer. And actually, there's differences among them that you really need to know before you decline or accept that insurance at the car rental company. If that sounds good to you, mi gente, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe. Check out the referral links below. I really appreciate it if you do. I have a lot of my favorite cards down there, extra wallets as always. You know, the summer season is in, so you want your extra travel bag and so on. So, mi gente, let's jump into it. So, as I said earlier, there's differences in different coverages and actually from the different credit card issuers out there available. Let's say we go into Hertz, and Hertz is usually the one that I use because I get it their status with my platinum card from American Express. So, right off the bat, when you go, they're like, oh, insurance is going to be X times dollars per day. Now, depending on where you're flying out of and the type of car you want and the coverage you want, it can go anywhere from $16 a day to $30 a day. So a 10-day rental can be 160 to $300 for that one car rental. And that's just for the insurance. That's not for the car itself. All the beautiful taxes and fees that they throw at you, especially if you're picking it up at an airport. And if you prepay the gas and so on. So when you're done with it, it's a trip to Europe basically that you're paying for a car. Okay. So today I'm going to go over four, and I'm not going to go over every single detail, but I'm going to show you highlight some of the differences and the differences in coverages. Okay. So I'm going to beg for you to forgive me as I look down because, I'm at that age that I got to keep looking up and down. I like to memorize as much as possible, but sometimes it's not possible. So, mi gente, first and foremost, I'm going to talk about Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo does have car rental insurance. A lot of people don't realize that. You just don't need a platinum card from Amex or a Chase Sapphire Reserve or a Capital One Venture X card to get car rental insurance. A lot of credit card companies have car rental insurance. Some might be secondary and others are primary. Now, what is secondary? Secondary insurance means that if, God forbid, you get into an accident, you have to go through your car insurance, your personal insurance first. Then whatever's not covered, the secondary insurance kicks in. Okay? So first you call, let's say I have Geico. You go through Geico first, you file your claim, and then you call Wells Fargo and you go through their benefits administrator, and then they try to cover as much as possible or up to their coverage limits that they have on the card. So that's secondary insurance. Primary insurance means just that. You don't have to go through your own personal insurance to get coverage. You can go and just use that card that has primary and you're covered for whatever. Now, it's also going to depend sometimes on the level of cards that you have. So, if you have one card through Chase, there's a basic primary car rental agreement they have for the base cards. Then there's a second level that they have for the preferred cards, and even one higher still for the reserve, just to give you an idea. Okay. So, right now for Wells Fargo, you're going to look at $50,000 that they're going to cover on a car. Here's where I have a little bit of a problem with that. If you think about the value of most cars today, even your smaller cars Hyundais and Kias and things of that nature that back in the day were 15, 20,000. Some of them are pushing 30 and 40,000 or more if it's an SUV. So you want to be sure that the card you're using is covering the car you want to rent. Okay. So keep that in mind when you do it. So Wells will cover up to 50,000. Now, what do you get? You get you can do this for up to 15 days domestically and 31 consecutive days abroad. Okay. So it says here coverage value is up to $50,000 of the actual cash value of the vehicle. It says to decline any insurance at the rental car counter. What is covered? You're covered from collision, theft, among the loss of use and towing charges. What's not covered? Exclusions such as large vans, trucks, antique cars, limos. Non covered situations include intoxication, driving off road, traveling to a war zone, and more. I can see that, right? But if you notice, they're telling you the actual value of the car up to 50,000. Again, guys, go check out those cars before you go. And you want to make sure that if you're going to use your Wells Fargo's card, that it's going to cover that. And if you also notice, they said up to 15 consecutive days. So what happens if you're there for 3 full weeks, including weekends, right? Not just 15 business days. That's why I'm guessing they're saying 15 days, but let's say 21 days. What are you going to do for the rest? That's why you need to look at the policies of the car rental insurance companies that you're trying to use. So for Wells Fargo, you now know that 50,000 is their limit and it's for 15 days here domestically, 31 days abroad. Now Chase, okay? Chase is covered. Now Chase is an anomaly. Chase is always, from my understanding, and I've been using Chase rental insurance coverage for over 10 years or so. I'm going to be honest with you. I've said it in other videos. Their rental insurance was trash. I couldn't stand it because I had to use it, and it took me 8 months to get my money back. But it's gotten better. They changed companies. They changed the person that does the benefits administration, and the way to make a claim has gotten a lot more simpler. I had to go through three different hoops, three different companies. Now it's just basically through one. Okay. But here's what Chase is going to cover. So Chase is covering up to 31 days, which is great. So you got a whole month that is covered. It's telling you to decline the coverage always. You check the box off if you're doing the rental online or if you're at the counter at the airport or whatever. You're going to get primary car rental. So you're good there, and it's up to $60,000 for a car. So see, there's a $10,000 difference that if you chose to go get a better car, or better yet, if you're a member of one of the statuses for, let's say, a Hertz President Circle or Avis President Circle and so on, they might offer you an upgrade, but that upgrade, the car is going to cost more. So you want to make sure that even if you accept that upgrade, that you're covered for that car. Okay, just keep that in mind. So for Chase, what's covered? Card members that are listed as a primary member, additional drivers are permitted by the car member agreement up to $60,000. What's covered? Theft, damage, valid loss, use of charges imposed and sustained by the rental agency. um, Also, they'll cover reasonable towing charges, which is fine. Um, and then they'll cover whatever administrative fees. What's not covered? And I love it because they say here, this is not an exhaustive list. Okay. But any violation of the car rental agreement, injury of anyone, including you, or damage to anything inside or outside the rental vehicle, leases and mini leases, loss of theft of personal belongings. That's huge. Personal liability. Now, they want you to do this if there's an accident or an issue within 365 days. So you have about a year to put in your claim. It took me 8 months after I put in the claim, literally the next day. But now, like I said, things have gotten better. So hopefully, I never need to use the insurance, but it's good to know that that's part of it. But here's something even sweeter. If you have one of the preferred cards, so not using, let's say, a Chase Freedom Flex or Freedom Unlimited or even one of the co-branded cards from United. But if you have a Sapphire Preferred or Reserve, you get better coverage. And here's what I'm talking about. So if you have the preferred will cover up to 60,000, but if you have the Sapphire Reserve, it covers up to $75,000, okay? And does not exclude expensive exotic vehicles. Both cards have additional limitations, including they're going to cover you for up to 31 days. Valuables left inside or rented end up damaged or stolen. Driving the rental car off road can void the protections. And again, they're asking you to do this within 365 days. But if you notice, this is giving you an additional $15,000 if you hold the Sapphire Reserve. So if you go on vacations and you're renting a large SUV for your family and you have two cards in your wallet, one is a Chase Freedom Flex and the other one is a Reserve, but you want to use the Flex, don't use the Reserve because you're going to be able to get better coverage for that vehicle. Okay. So that's Chase. And again, Chase is primary. Now here comes um something that people are going to tell me, yeah, Joe, we kind of figured you were going to go this route. And for me, that is American Express's car rental insurance. Now, right off the bat, Amex only offers you secondary insurance. So if you have their cards, you get secondary. Like I said, that means you have to go through your insurance company first, and then you're going to go through their insurance. However, Amex has what they call their premium car insurance or rental policy that, depending on the coverage which you choose, and there's two different types of coverage. And actually, if you live in certain states, it's even cheaper than what I'm going to tell you right here. Amex will give you coverage. And what I like about Amex's coverage that is different from anybody else's is once you enroll, and like with all the other cards, in order to get this coverage, you have to pay for the entire car with that card that you're handing to them, be it Wells, be it Chase, be it Capital One. Okay. And Capital One has, again, the same similar coverage to the other guys. You have to use their card in its entirety for it. But with Amex, you're going to get coverage not for 2 weeks, not for 3 weeks, up to 42 consecutive days. That's huge for car rental insurance. Now, here's what it's going to cover. Okay. It's going to cover damage, theft, accidents, dismemberment, God forbid, accidental injury, personal property expenses, and so on. Now, what is it going to cost? The basic cost, if you choose this one, no deductible, which is great, 1995. You'll get damage and theft of a rental vehicle of up to $75,000. So it's matching the CSR. Accidental death or dismemberment of up to 75,000, which some of the other car rental companies, their cards don't cover that. Okay. And for me, the one that I use is their plus, which is only $24.95. You pay it once and it covers you for 42 consecutive days. That damage or theft of rental vehicle is up to $100,000. Accidental death or dismemberment, $100,000. Accidental injury expense, 15,000. Personal property, 5,000. So you see where Amex's coverage is a lot more comprehensive. And if you're not sure of how long you're going to stay, or if you might have to extend the stay, you're covered as long as it's there consecutive. What they also do is they send you in the mail and through email. Literally, it looks like an insurance package that you would get for your own insurance for your home or your car policy or whatever, which breaks down the benefits for you. So to me, that's a huge win. And separate from even talking about multipliers, like I said, I get Hertz because I get their President's Circle status. I use the platinum as the code for that, but I pay it with the green card and I get 3 times for the amount of money that I'm spending for every dollar on that car rental. So the also be careful on how you use it. You could also get the insurance covered this package on any of the level of the cards. Whereas if you use the Chase Freedom Flex, you're going to be covered for that as primary. You can't buy up to the next level as a reserve. Okay. Now, last but not least is Capital One. And I mentioned them a little earlier. They're covered through their MasterCard or Visa because they have both. And $60,000 on it. The Venture X gives you better coverage than their regular cards do. Let's say the Saver or a Quick Silver card. So the Capital One Venture X functions much like the Sapphire Reserve, in which that primary their number one card gives you better coverage overall. So if you want to do something through Capital One, by all means, but this is what you're going to get. um, if the accident results in physical damage to your rental car, theft, towing, loss of use, what isn't covered, mi gente? Here's the problem: bodily injury to you or other people, mechanical breakdown of the rental vehicle, damage to other vehicles, damage to other people's property, luggage or other items that were stolen from the rental vehicle. So you see, it's not as comprehensive. Now, this is what car rental companies, I'm sorry, charge on average. And I have a list of four. Enterprise will charge you for their basic insurance $15. If you want the loss damage waiver, it's $30 per rental day. Okay. Budget rent a car, it's $9 for loss damage waiver, $15 for liability coverage. Hertz is $30 for loss damage waiver, $16 for liability. And Alamo is the one that comes in the most, believe it or not. $35 a day for loss damage waiver, $16 for liability coverage. So, mi gente, as you can see, you do have coverage out there. Don't just go and sign and get a car if you have a card in hand. Now, here's the problem: if you choose to go with your secondary insurance, that means you have primary. I know a lot of people out there that have a driver's license and can rent a car, but don't have car insurance under their name or themselves. So in that instance, you really have to rely on your credit card, because if not, you're going to have to pay one of these prices that I just read off to you in order to get coverage for the car. But if I have, and now I have every card on this list except for Capital One. I have a Capital One Venture X authorized user, so I would be able to use it if I needed to. But for me, the American Express premium car rental insurance is the best insurance out there, bang for your buck. Here's the key: if you live in Florida, it's anywhere up to from 12 to $15 a day for that one shot, instead of even the $19. So you'll save money if you're using it in Florida. So, mi gente, as always, I thank you for being here. I hope you got some good information, especially now for the summer season, for you to put more money in your pocket and not in Hertz's or Alamos or Nationals or Avis's pockets. Like always, mi gente, I thank you for giving me the privilege of your time. Until next time, mi gente, take care.